Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pettit's Market Hans Extermination Company Evan Monroe Show, where we cover everything out here on the range with the West Greene Buffalo football team. As always, I'm joined here with Buffalo's head coach, Evan Monroe. Coach, how you doing this afternoon?
Doing good, man. Hanging in there.
Got Coach Hahn out here. He's the lone spectator in our audience today. No flies hanging around here. He's already exterminated every single one of them, if you saw that last week. If not, please go back and see that clip. That's one of the best things you'll see all year out of any of these interviews right here.
Hadouken!
Yeah, where's the sound effect come from on that?
Street Fighter, ain't it?
Is it? Okay.
I think it's Street Fighter. One of the guys shoots a Hadouken. It's like a fireball out of his hands.
Instead of a fireball, it's just...
He's just, bam, getting it.
That's pretty good last week, I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, it was good. I'm surprised he got it.
I was too. My face said it all too. I think you had a good reaction to it too, because I don't think either of us really expected him to open his hand and be there.
Oh, no, I didn't.
It looked like he got it, but I was assuming it would fly away.
Yeah, he got it. I was shocked.
Let's talk about some football this past Friday night. Went up there to Happy Valley, played the final game of the season. Ended up coming out on the losing side 38-28, but I liked what you told Mark after the game too.
Yeah.
I've got the quote right here. Mark's opening line in the article said, earlier in the week, West Greene head coach Evan Monroe said he wanted his team to play for each other and have fun. After seeing an offensive lineman score on a pass play, an offensive lineman complete a pass, and a wide receiver throw a touchdown pass to another wide receiver, it was obvious they had fun. How much fun was it Friday night doing some different things in your last football game of the season?
You know, it was one of those things. Me and Coach Hahn had bounced some ideas through the week, like what can we do to give these guys a fun last ride. We knew kind of the playoff picture going in didn't look great for us, win or loss. Had to have a pretty big upset happen for us to get in. And so we kind of knew it was going to be our last ride going in. So we were like, let's have a little bit of fun. And so, Justin Centel, he's probably our more athletic lineman that's a senior. And we were like, all right, let's get him in the end zone somehow. So me and him kind of bounced some ideas back and forth how to do it. And he come up with the hook and ladder idea. And I was like, all right, we'll rep it in practice, see how it goes. This is one of them things I was sitting there scratching my head going, this ain't going to work. And then we get out and rep it 3 or 4 times in practice, and I'm like, this might work. And then we get down to about the 5-yard line on Friday night, and I'm like, Hon, Centel special. So
is that what it's called?
He called it the big, long, fancy name. I'm a fan of simple. I call
like
it Centel special.
That sounds better too.
He called it some tunnel, screen, hook, and ladder. I was like, Centel special. We know what we're running. And so we throw the little screen pass out there. Braden McCamey catches it, gives Centel a great pitch right into him. Centel takes it around, beats a kid on to the end zone. You know, the thing that I liked about that more than getting Centel into the end zone was the fact that the guys celebrated. They were excited that he got into the end zone. It didn't matter who it was. It was skill guys were celebrating, linemen were celebrating. Sideline went wild. We had a great time with that one. And then as far as the pass from BB to Franklin in the end zone, that was because Dawson was busy yakking. He had ran one. He kind of got hit, and he's laying on the side. I'm like, all right, you got to get up. And he goes, can't. I was like, oh, man. And he just like a fountain. I was like, oh, that's rough. All right, get it out. Let's get you back in here. So we called a timeout, got him settled in, got BB the play, got everybody settled. BB comes out, rolls, sees Franklin streaking, just kind of throws it as far as he can. Franklin runs under it, catches it in the end zone. That was more of a necessity than a scheme, if that makes sense. That wasn't a trick play that we'd drawn up or anything like that. That
really wasn't anything that was probably in the playbook either. It was just,
hey, BB's the backup quarterback. The 2 other kids that we had, the new quarterback, have ended up hurt this year.
Okay.
So when those 2 got hurt, it was like, we're looking around. It's like, who can at least throw the ball halfway decent if we need him to? And so BB was the guy for that. So he did great for us there. And then to get the lineman to throw the 2-point conversion, that was me at the end of the game. We had scored, and I was like, you know what, everybody has had a chance to score except for one guy. I said, let's get him in the end zone. I said, let's at least get him a 2-point conversion if we can. So we call another timeout. There's like 30 seconds left in the game. And we literally, this is something we hadn't practiced. We hadn't got the formation or nothing. We just drew it up in the dirt during the timeout. I said, you line up here, you line up here. Zach, take the snap. You go here. Catch a snap. Everybody's going forward. And they're like, cool, we can get 3 yards with this. Lo and behold, we catch a snap, we go to run, we get a false start penalty. So we're back now on the 8-yard line. I said, me and Han kind of looked at each other. I said, I was like, let him throw one. I said, why not? At this point, 30 seconds left. We know the game's decided. Why not? When I say he threw a moon ball, the ball is out of the frame on film. It goes.
How far is it zoomed in on film?
Oh, you could see from like the 40 in. So we're a good ways out.
Okay, keep going.
The ball goes way up. Way up. Comes down. Doc's in the end zone. Doc is all of maybe, 5'7", 5'8". He's got a kid that's like 6'2" on his back. Doc goes and high points it, grabs the ball, pulls it down in the end zone. And, we've joked all year that we had done some fun stuff throughout the year and let the linemen do 7-on-7 and stuff. And Zach Carroll, he affectionately give himself the nickname Fatty Mahomes. So, to get Fatty Mahomes a 2-point conversion, I thought that was pretty cool.
He'll always go down in the record points as if scoring 2 points.
Hey, the cool thing is every senior that stayed healthy this year will leave West Greene with points. So I think that's pretty cool. Even the 2 linemen we had will leave West Greene with points. So I thought that was pretty cool. The 2 guys that ended up getting hurt got hurt early in the season, and they didn't get a chance to. I think if Brock Winstead catches the slant against North Greene that hit him right dead center of the hands, it's probably the worst place to hit Brock. I mean, he probably scores on that one. But, those 2 guys that got hurt are the only 2 seniors that didn't score in some capacity this year. So, for us as a coaching staff, we want the boys to enjoy football. If we can have a little bit of fun, great. Obviously, we want to win. I mean, no coach is going to say, well, boys, I don't care if we go 0-10 as long as we have fun. Nobody wants to do that. Mm-hmm. I'm competitive. I want to win. But when your season doesn't turn out the way you want, at least you can make a special memory for those boys. And so to be able to do that as a coach, I was pretty excited for them.
The other 2 touchdowns you had also were via your running backs, Ian Kiefer and Wyatt Moody. Talk about the running game a little bit and how you're able to find success in that.
We come in all season, and our plan was control the clock, shorten the game, and use those 4 big backs that we've got to just kind of pound at people. And, we knew Ian had the top end speed to be able to bust one when he got an open field. And so the one that Ian scored on, we run buck sweep, and, you see it on film. Ian gets kicked out, the backside guard rolls up. I mean, there's an alley, and Ian just kind of hits that seam and then outruns everybody to the end zone. So I thought that was pretty cool.
61 yards, too. That's one of his longest this year.
Yeah, he made a kid miss and kept running. I hate we're losing him. He's a great kid. He's one that should have just been a junior, but he's a homeschool kid. He reclassified as a senior this year. I've joked with him. I said, if you come back next year, you'd be getting the ball. If we run 45 plays, you're getting it 44 of them. We're going to ride you like a rented mule. He just kind of laughs like, he don't say a whole lot. But I joked around with him with that. And then, for Doc, I was excited for him. He's not had as much offensive production this year as he did last year. Mm-hmm. but we've had to keep him fresh for defense.
That's what I was going to say. You kind of have to keep him where you need him most.
Yeah, and as linebacker is by far his better position of the two. Does that mean he's a bad running back? No, not at all. He's a pretty good running back. But we needed him 100% more on defense. When you can rotate, Maddox, Ian, Doc, and let those three kind of just rotate carries and keep guys fresh. Because, Ian didn't play a lot of defense, whereas Doc was the leader on defense. And so to try to keep them fresh, you got a little give, a little take.
Yeah.
And so I hate he didn't have as much production this year, but to get him in the end zone one last time, I thought that was pretty cool.
Puts a cap on your season 2 at 3-7 to end out. How happy were you ending your first season as a head coach here at West Greene?
I would say I was happy. We left a lot of goals on the table. I was really wishing I was really wanting to make playoffs the first year. I don't think there's very many coaches that look around and say, I hope we don't make the playoffs. Every coach wants to make the playoffs. And, we're a game here, a game there, away from it. And really in those couple games, we're a couple plays here, a couple plays there from being 5-5 instead of 3-7.
Okay.
And when you look at it that way, you're like, kind of leaves a little bitter taste in my mouth. Am I glad that I get a few weeks off to spend some time with my family, to get to enjoy them a little more? Yes, I'm very happy I get to spend more time with my family for the next few weeks. But to end our season the way we did, I was a little disappointed. I thought our boys played hard. I thought we fought tooth and nail. The last few games that we figured out, hey, we only got a few weeks left of football, boys. We're going to play till the final whistle blows, and they did that for us. And so I was happy for that, but that how we finished the season, but not that we didn't finish it with wins, if that makes any sense at all. I couldn't fault our effort, but when as a coach you want to win, and a lot of people measure success in wins and losses, but people don't talk about how much talk about success in different ways of, hey, this kid has become disciplined. He's figured out self-discipline. He's figured out how to work harder to make himself better. That's success for some people.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've got a freshman. He was never played football before. He's honestly a big kid, and when he first got out here, he couldn't hardly get down a 3-point stance, and he lost almost 30 pounds over the length of the season.
Wow!
And now he's getting in a stance, doing well to he gets in a good stance now and is able to fire off the ball, and so that's a lot of improvement for him. And so to be able to take some individual success and see the growth is good. But I honestly wish we could have just finished. I wanted playoffs bad.
I mean, you always want to play football in November.
I do. November football special, man.
Yeah.
Not everybody gets to do it. That's why it's special. Those seniors, I guarantee they wish they weren't at basketball practice. They'd rather be out here playing. But it is what it is. I wish our season would have turned out a little better for them, but as first-year head coach, I'm going to make mistakes. I'm not going to always make the right decision. I have to go back and learn from my mistakes, and this offseason look at those mistakes and how can I change and how can I improve. I'm a firm believer in constantly improving myself, and so if I'm going to push these boys to improve themselves, I've got to do the same thing. And so I look forward to the off-season and get in the weight room, because I feel like that's where the biggest difference will be for us as a team.
That's what I was going to ask you. Coming back next year?
Absolutely.
All right.
It's one of those things. My pride for this place runs real deep. I grew up in this community. I lived right down the road. I don't live in this community anymore, but when I had a choice of working in the community I live in now or making a longer drive and coming here and working when I first kind of got my first real teaching job, I came here. I could have been on the same schedule with my wife, could have had all the same breaks and had all that, but I said, no, I got to go to the place that means a lot to me. And so that's when I started at Mossheim. And then we went through the consolidation. It became West Greene Middle School. And now I'm here, and, this is a place that it means a lot to me. And so I want to get this place to be a success. We've had some success in previous years, but I want us to have continued success. I want to develop a program where we have kids beating the door down to come play football here. Not, well, I think I might play football. No, I want to play football. I want to be a part of something special. And that's what I want to. That's my goal to build here. And it may take a few years to get there, but that's my goal. I'm going to work as hard as I can to get it there. And so when you take pride in a place, I think it's easier to put your heart and soul into it. So that's where I'm at with it, man. I know the season didn't go how we wanted, but man, I'm ready for off season and get us in the weight room and put some beef on them boys.
The reason I ask that is I want to ask you about next year too, but we need to get a break in here first. We need to pay the ones who help us pay our bills, so we'll get a commercial break in here first and talk about the season outlook next year and what the future holds here at West Greene right after this break on Grassroots Media.
Pizza, pancakes, or donuts, the Davy Crockett Travel Center in Baileyton has the cure for all your cravings. While you're there, shop our general store for souvenirs, gifts, and cellular accessories. In a hurry, grab a cold drink and a hot dog to go. Check us out on Facebook and come to Baileyton.
Remember those days when life was simpler and every corner held a treasure just waiting to be discovered? Pettit's Market was a place where memories were made and where stories were woven. Here you'll find more than just goods. You'll find a piece of the past wrapped in the embrace of today. Pettit's Market is where neighbors become friends, friends become family, and good food and love holds everything together. So step inside, make memories, eat good, and leave happy. Pettit's Market, the little store with a big welcome.
Welcome back to Grassroots Media, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Pettit's Market Evan Monroe Show, where we cover everything here on the range with West Greene Buffaloes and exterminate any flies that come in the building here at West Greene. I'm here with head coach Evan Monroe. So we kind of put a cap on the season in this last part. Looking forward to the future now. You touched on it a little bit before the break. Talk about what the future holds going forward and what some of your positions are going to look like next year.
I think I've not really had time to sit and plan for the future. It's only
kind of early to ask.
Yeah, but looking back, we know we've got a couple guys coming back that can help us. We know Austin Franklin's coming back, one of the more dynamic athletes on our team. We know Alex Johnson's coming back, great athlete for us. We know Braden McCamey, who's probably got the best hands on the team. Now, he's no barn burner. He ain't gonna beat you with his speed. But he'll find him some green grass and sit down, and if you get in the ball to him, he'll catch it. He's got great hands. He's a baseball and basketball player, so he's got good hands there. And so we've got those three guys coming back that are skill guys for us. We're only losing 2 offensive linemen. We started 3 sophomores, really 4. Because 2 of them kind of rotated in, whoever was playing better or kind of got the hot hand that week. They were competing all season against each other, so we've got 4 guys coming back that are sophomores on the offensive line. We should get a guy back we should get Zachary Diltz back. He missed a lot of the season this year with a torn labrum. He tried to give it a go early in the season, kind of tore it, and then he tried to go a little more, and then he just couldn't. His shoulder just kept popping in and out on him, and it was one of those things. He's like, Coach, I can't, and I can't fault a kid for that. He grit his teeth and was as tough as he could be for it. But when a kid, you've got that torn labrum, when a kid takes your arm and cranks it way up, that
aggravates it a lot.
Yeah, that's rough. And so, he'll come back healthy. Jake Green tore his ACL against Cumberland Gap. He'll be back for us. We've got some guys that have played some football that are coming back for us. That'll help us out a ton, especially up front. We'll miss the 2 seniors that we had up front, but I think the guys that we've got coming in will fill those roles and do well there. I look forward to next season when seeing some of these young guys get in the weight room and really buy out and really get another year in the weight room and see what kind of progress they can make. I think it'd be great for them. And so, up front, we got a pretty solid line coming back. Skill guys, we've got 3 pretty good skill guys coming back. The big question is the quarterback and some running backs. We graduate Dawson, who's been here consistent for 4 years. You lose Doc, Ian, and Maddox. That's 3 backs that just bam, bam, bam right after the other. And so that's the 2 big question marks: is who's going to step up and lead us at quarterback, and who's going to be the one that totes the rock for us. So that's the 2 spots where we're saying, hey, if you want a spot and you want to work for it, here it is. It's open. You got to work for it, but it's here if you want to take it. And so I think that's motivation for a lot of the kids that, hey, I stood a lot on the sideline this year. I'd like to get on the field. I'm gonna take my chance, and I'm gonna work my butt off and see what happens. And so, I think you'll see a lot of the same stuff from us. A lot of power, counter, buck sweep. I don't think we're going to change a whole lot offensively. Keep it simple for those linemen up front. Try to get the ball in our skill guys' hands as much as we can, and let them run. See what happens.
Something that caught my eye earlier that I forgot to mention last week is you see this pink ribbon right here. How cool was it wearing those pink uniforms for the first time in a long time against Sullivan East on senior night last week?
I thought that was pretty cool. The guys earlier in the season came to me and was like, Coach, can we do a pink out game? I said,
it's cool when you get to wear different jerseys too.
Yeah.
You always remember that specific game because of that specific jersey too.
Yeah. And it's one of those things, is like they come to me and was like, hey, can we do a pink out game? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I said, let me see what I can do for us. I said, I'll call BSN, see if they can get us some jerseys. I said, if that's what you guys want to do, we'll do one. They're like, all right. And so, for me as a coach to get them something special to do, I thought that was pretty cool. When the boys say, hey, I've got aunts, moms, grandmas, I've got an aunt that battled breast cancer myself. And so to kind of bring a little awareness to that, and to kind of pay respects to those women who have been the warriors through all that, it's kind of the least we could do for them. And so I thought it was a pretty special night for them. I think the boys enjoyed it, and hopefully we get to do a couple more in the future.
It'd be awesome to see.
Yeah.
Something else that catches my eye in this room, and kind of the same conversation, your hoodie right there. I've seen speculation about it on Twitter and on Instagram. Are they doing the powder blue uniforms for Pat Summit on Saturday?
No.
I didn't think so.
No.
But that's a cool concept.
Cool concept.
Yeah.
Now, they are going to do some powder blue accessories. I did see that today. During lunch, I was kind of scrolling through Twitter, and I saw that the Vol football had released their uniform like they do every week.
Okay.
And so it's white helmet, orange top, white breeches, the Pat Summit blue accessories.
Okay.
So, it's pretty cool that I get to take my niece Saturday to her first UT game. So I think, I kind of got her interested in it earlier this year. We sat down and watched a couple games together, and She's been all about it this year, and so I hope Saturday makes her a lifelong fan. Don't want her to get that old ugly Alabama tide in her or that old ugly burnt orange.
Oh, come on now.
That's brown.
Which one would you rather than be a fan of, though?
Oh, Texas.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Texas.
It'll be SEC, though, here soon. How's that going to work? Are they going to split up into divisions, or are you just going to have one big mega conference?
I don't know. I don't know if they've released the schedule yet. Is it?
They haven't released schedules, and they haven't really released the idea that they have in mind. But if you do divisions, I think you're going to have to kind of mix a little.
You're going to have to realign.
You are, because
you can't have.
There's no way you can have either Texas or Oklahoma in the East because it just doesn't fit.
No.
Because the way it looks right now,
and then the East ends up loaded.
Yes.
Because then Alabama and Auburn probably have to bump to the East. Yep. And you've got Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee, Kentucky,
South Carolina, Missouri,
Vandy. Missouri might bump
you could, up. That's one of them, like Missouri, you could
kind of get over there.
Yeah, Arkansas too, but it's like Arkansas belongs in the West.
Yeah.
They used to be in that old, I can't remember, it was a big South Conference with Texas and Oklahoma and all them before they joined the SEC. So that kind of fits to join them back in there. And if you do a division, you've got to put A&M and Texas in the same division too.
Oh, yeah.
Brings back the old rivalry, and like I mentioned with Arkansas and all that too. So they're going to have to shuffle a few things around, or unless just make it just like one big conference. Like the Pac-12, well,
Pac-6.
Yeah. Pac-4, Pac-2, whatever it's going to be.
Whatever it is now.
I don't even know if they've announced where they're going yet. I've heard Cal wants to go to the ACC, which makes no sense, but welcome to the world of college football.
The Atlantic Coastal Conference to the American Coastal Conference, because they'll be on both sides. Because there's no way Cal.
Nope.
Can you imagine baseball or volleyball having to play a conference game? Going from Cal to Virginia Tech, or Miami.
The one that really first caught my attention like that is if you look at a lot of conferences, they make sense.
Yeah.
How they're all kind of in that same region.
Yeah.
ACC, it's all on the coast. There's a few teams like you've got all the way down here, Florida State, and all the way up here with Boston College. It's like, well, they're all on the coast, so it makes sense.
Atlantic Coast Conference.
Pac-12, you're all over there. Yeah. You're all in that time zone.
You can keep that West Coast.
Big 12, you're all in the middle, and then you got West Virginia. Don't know how they swindled their way in there, but I guess it doesn't have to be regional when it's just called Big 12.
I guess not.
With what used to be 10 teams. And then the Big 10 has 14. About to have 18.
Talk about confusing somebody that doesn't know a lot about football.
Imagine some of these young kids, like your kids' age, that are just going to start learning. They're like, why does the Big 10 have 18 teams, but the Big 12 has 14? It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
Dad, what was the Pac-12? Well, it used to be Pac-10.
Sit down. Well, kids, back in my day, we had 6 conferences or 5 conferences instead of 4.
In basketball, you had the Big East.
Yeah.
What fun that was.
That was a fun conference.
I liked it more than the ACC. Just because it was so competitive with so many teams loaded.
Yeah.
UConn, Georgetown, Syracuse, Louisville, Pitt for a few years was up there towards the top.
Now it's like,
I couldn't even tell you who's in it now.
No. I don't follow college basketball a whole lot.
Villanova's another one I forgot about.
Till it's March Madness time.
Yeah. Best time of the year.
That might be one of my favorite days of the year.
Oh, yeah.
I hate it fell on spring break this past year because one of the things I usually do is to kind of get kids interested in stuff. I'll give them an assignment to do, and on my board, I'm streaming a game. And I'm like, all right, kids, as long as you do your work, game stays on. They're like, that's great motivation for middle school boys. They will get it done if they think they can sit and watch some basketball.
The most perfect, I don't have YouTube TV myself, but if you have YouTube TV and you could broadcast 4 channels at the same time and have all 4.
May have to do a free trial come March Madness.
Just that first weekend.
Yeah, just the first weekend.
You've got so many games going on that first weekend. Second weekend, it kind of gets a little easier to where you've got games blocked on each schedule and there's like an hour overlap. But that first weekend, you've got 4 games going on from 3 o'clock all the way until midnight. It gets crazy. It's fun, though. I will say, though, As a degenerate gambler, it's the worst time of year, though, because you don't know what's going to happen. Han's over here shaking his head, too. Bet responsibly. I'll go ahead and join what they say on those commercials, because when it comes March Madness, just like your brackets, everything gets busted up.
All right. You go to a game. You go to the concession stand. What are you buying?
Depends where in some cases, but if I'm blindly going up to a concession stand and ordering, I'm going to get whatever I'm feeling that day, either a water or a soda.
Okay.
And I'm going to get some popcorn.
Can't go wrong with stadium popcorn.
Yep. I like to see which one has the best popcorn. And then if you got pizza, I want a slice of pepperoni. Doesn't matter if it's from Little Caesars, Papa John's,
Okay.
where. Just give me a slice of pizza.
If I go to a stadium, like a big game, I'm going to get me a hot pretzel.
Pretzel, that's a different one. Okay.
Salted pretzel. Hits me in the soft spot.
Yeah. I don't get it at games much. Now, that's one thing I get, like, if I go to the movies. Sometimes I get a hot pretzel.
See, I get the big bag of popcorn, and I'm like,
Oh, yeah, you got that.
I got half of it gone before the movie even starts.
Sometimes you don't finish it, and you're like, well, midnight snack.
I get it finished.
Just eat it before you go to bed.
Usually my wife and I, we share popcorn, and so I eat about half of it before the movie even starts. Then I'm like, all right, get this away from me for a few minutes. Let her have her part, and then I'm like, all right, I'll finish this off.
There's something different about movie popcorn, though.
It's so good.
I don't know if it's the butter or what.
I don't know if you can call that butter. The oil.
Yeah, because
butter flavored oil.
Yeah, it's not really butter anymore. Like, it's not like soaked up. It's just on there.
Yeah.
I don't really know how to describe that anymore either. It's not really butter.
All right, while we're on the topic of movies, this made me think of it. Candy. Because movies.
Okay, speaking of candy too, Halloween.
Oh man,
just 2 days ago. What was the question?
All right, you go to the movies, or you see the boxes of candy. What are you going for?
Sour Patch Kids.
Sour Patch Kids. Ooh,
my go-to. Sour Patch Kids or Sour Skittles. I'm big on sour candies, and there's some others too. You know, Nerd Gummy Clusters.
Oh, that's a good one.
If I'm feeling chocolate, Reese's Cup.
Can't go wrong with a Reese's Cup.
If we're going traditional chocolate, Hershey's. I like Hershey's.
Okay.
Kit Kats are good too.
You know, the dad tax was strong this week. Halloween, trick-or-treating. Kids got the buckets on the table. Dad tax, Reese's Cup for me, boys. Terry.
Got to.
Hey, that's the only reason you take it as a dad. You take your kids trick-or-treating. It's not the joy they get from going house to house.
Because you get the candy.
It's the joy of knowing that at the end of the night of walking through the subdivisions, the long, treacherous walks, putting kids on your shoulders because they're tired, you know you got a Reese's Cup waiting on you when you get done.
Hey, and sometimes if you hit the nice subdivisions, you get the king-sized.
There's a house in the subdivision we trick-or-treat at. Give out full-size candy bars.
That's the spot you hit up every year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know, it's funny. We always go to my brother-in-law's. He's got a nice little, it's like a 3/4 mile subdivision. All the houses there give out candy. So we kind of do the little loop and end up back at his house, and then we usually take a break for a few minutes, and then the really rich subdivision like butts up behind them.
Okay.
So you can like cut through his backyard and end up in like the ritzy part. Ritzy part that's where you rack up right there. They're like, here, oh, you're so cute. Here, honey, get what you want. My daughter, she dressed up as Tinkerbell, so I'm a little biased, but I think she's a cute Tinkerbell. She's a cute kid. Son dressed up as alligator.
Okay.
So he was all about that. So Halloween was fun.
Is he a Florida fan?
No, God, no.
Okay, well, Gator outfit on. I didn't know.
No.
I didn't know.
He wanted to be an alligator, and daughter wanted to be Tinkerbell, and so we kind of said he was the alligator from Peter Pan, kind of make it work together.
Yeah.
So it worked out for us. But no, he's not a Florida fan.
Both kids Tennessee fans.
They don't have a choice.
Yeah, sometimes you got a choice.
No,
I guess
they
in
don't.
some households you don't.
No, they don't have a choice. My daughter's already had her game day bibs. The
Okay.
orange, the checkerboard game day bibs. Son's already got him a Peyton or a '98 jersey.
Okay.
So, he may never see a national championship, but
That's all right.
that's all right.
Loyal to the soil.
Hey, he don't have a choice. Some things in life you got a choice on.
Have they picked favorite baseball teams yet?
So I'm not a big baseball guy.
Okay.
No, I'm not. I know that's sacrilegious around here, but I'm not a big baseball guy.
A lot of it's Braves. I think you're a Braves guy too, yeah.
I was going to say, if I had to pick one, it'd be the Braves.
Okay.
And just because my older brother was a big Braves fan growing up, like if you want to talk baseball, talk to my brother. He was the one that he's a big card guy too.
Oh, yeah.
He's a big card guy. He's like, I just want you to know, all these cards, they're going to be Micah's one day. That's my son. He's like, these are going to be Micah's. I'm like, no, they ain't. I said, I don't need those in my house. He said, oh, they're going in your house. He's like, I don't want them anymore. I'm like, God. When I say he has boxes, I know at one point he had binders, like the big 3-inch binders. And, you put the laminate, the little sleeves or whatever.
9 pockets.
Yeah, the 9-pocket sleeves. I know at one point, I think he had like 25, 30 of those.
My guy.
And that was just like a small portion of what he had. He has like card boxes stuffed. And I'm like, you don't even know what you got. He says, I know every card I got. I'm like, okay.
If you're that true to it, then you will. You can look at a card and say, yeah, I've got it.
I'm sure he does.
You got to be true to the hobby if you know that much.
He's got it. And so I hadn't made him pick a baseball team. I had made him pick college football is king at the house. And so, when we go college football, it's Tennessee or nothing. Tennessee or the backyard, because that's where you're going to be sleeping if you're not a Tennessee fan.
Understand.
Put him a tent in the backyard. Sarah might disagree with me, but
maybe you can convert them one day to the real UT.
No. Ooh, that old ugly brown. That's rough.
No, we're not. No, don't even. No, we're not getting it. I'm not even going to mention their name on here.
No.
I will mention their name.
Alabama.
34-24. Trivia question. What is the worst home loss in Nick Saban's career as an Alabama head coach?
Home loss. I'm going to assume it's probably Texas since you brought it up. Ding. Because I was thinking maybe an LSU team might have beat them pretty good, but the only time that I could think of was when Leonard Fournette was at LSU.
I know Burrow did it a few years ago, but that one was like a single-digit one. I know Texas is the only team to ever beat them by double digits, by 10 or more, and it was a 10-point game. So just a little piece of information there for you if you ever lay in bed at night and wonder, what's the worst loss Saban's ever had at home?
Hurt would fall off that high horse.
It's all right. If we're the ones that keep you out of the playoffs, it was Tennessee last year. We'll be the ones this year.
I know it was the Stallions guy at Michigan that kept Tennessee out of the playoffs last year. Sent all the signals to.
I don't know if we need to get into that. We'll be here another 30 minutes. That is crazy.
That's one of the craziest stories of college football.
And it keeps getting crazier. Have you seen him on the sideline with Central Michigan?
Yeah.
With the glasses that have a recorder on there?
Yeah, they have. You see the blue dot. It's
it just pops on.
Yeah, you're like,
That's crazy. If anybody doesn't know what we're talking about, you will soon, because that's going to be huge.
Yes.
And the fact that there's been no penalties handed down yet.
I think the NCAA is building their folder.
I do too. They've got to build a case first before they do anything.
And then they're just going to boom, drop the hammer on them.
Speaking of college football, first rankings came out the other night. Ohio State first. Do you agree?
No.
I don't, but I do, because I don't think they are the number one team in college football. But if you're looking at it from a paper standpoint, they've got the 2 top 10 wins, one being on the road in South Bend. But it's like the same case with Georgia. You've kind of struggled at times. So,
in the words of Ric Flair, to be the man,
I get it.
You got to beat the man.
So Georgia won.
Woo!
So Georgia won.
You know, I'm not I don't like Georgia. I don't like Ohio State. I
Don't like
pretty
Michigan.
much pull for against everybody except for Tennessee and whoever Alabama's playing that week. So I'll pull for whoever Alabama's playing.
Go Tigers
Tennessee.
this week, huh? You're pulling for LSU?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things. Alabama could be playing, you know, the USSR. I'd probably have me a Russian jersey on.
We'll end the interview on that. That's all we've got. We'll sign off one more time from the Pettit's Market Evan Monroe Show. Coach, thank you for everything this year.
No problem.
Look forward to being back next year. Thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Pettit's Market Evan Monroe Show. Look forward to seeing y'all next year here on Grassroots Media.
Roll Tide.
Go Buffs!